Hello, this is Joe, and you're watching GoonerTube, and this is another one of those segments that we're going to be doing during the international break. This segment is all about the front three at Arsenal, and who do we think is the best front three that Mikel Arteta should be choosing on a regular basis. I've got my ideas, and this is Andy over here. You've seen him before. Hello, Andy. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Joe. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. You ready to give me your? You ready to give me your three?
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
Okay, let's go for it. So we're here just
now.
Well, you can do it in a second. When I just on my say so. When I point to you, go okay. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be talking about a few other things. I might throw in a few curveballs for Andy to deal with during this conversation. It's just going to be a very, very quick one. But we're going to try and talk about, like I say, we're going to try and discuss and decide and see if we agree on who we think the front three for Arsenal should be, starting front three this season. It's going to be interesting to see what people think of our conversation regarding their comments and whether they think that either of our choices, if they're different, would work for them, and what they would do if it doesn't work for them. So, without further ado, let's go straight into it. Have you been all right? Is everything good?
Yeah, all good.
Good. So you're ready to go. Here we go then. So, who, if you were Mikel Arteta, would you choose as your front three throughout the rest of this season? Obviously, we're talking about the fact that they're going to stay injury free and whatever. So
yeah,
let me know what you think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so I think this probably is going to split opinions. I think, Joe. Actually, I think for me, Aubameyang down the middle, 100%. Okay. I know. There's a lot of people that love him on the left. He comes in, blah blah blah. And I love him for that. And he's all the success he's had at Arsenal has been on that left-hand side.
Okay.
But for me, I think that if he goes down the middle, that to me is an obvious choice.
True striker style. True striker style. That's sort of like,
yeah. And you know what, John? I think he always hints that he wants to be down the middle. And the impression I get that when he talks generally, I think that's where he sees himself being.
Yep.
Me, Auba down the middle.
Yep.
I think I've debated this quite hard, actually. On the left-hand side, I'm kind of going reluctantly, I think, but I think I'm going to stick with Saka on the left.
Yes.
In terms of potential, we talked about potential in previous videos, and I think with Saka, I would say he's probably about 70-80% there of potential. So for me, still lots to learn, but I think what he's shown and what he's given us in the time he's been in a regular in the first team, I think he justifies a place on the left-hand side, but in a more forward playing role, not as a wing forward playing role.
Okay.
And on the other side, this is debatable. I would go for Pepe, I think. Right. Again, I think is certainly there based on recent form, recent goal he scored. I think I would stick with Pepe because of his age as well. And we need him for the long term. And it's Pepe or Willian on the right-hand side for me. But Pepe, I think, gets it purely because of his age and the fact we need to build his confidence. And I think he's got the potential to be with us for many years.
Okay. So that is your front three.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, well, Saka, because obviously he's a really good attacking player. Auba in the middle because obviously he is the goal scorer and he's the main goal scorer of the team, a la Ian Wright, Thierry Henry sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And Pepe because of the potential of Pepe.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, Willian is clearly a proven player. And actually it might be a bit of need for rotation between those two on the right-hand side for me. But I think Pepe should get more games. I think just because of a confidence thing, actually. It's there, and I think we can see it. It just needs to come out. And the only way you're going to see it come out and that potential realised is by him playing.
Well, here's the first of a few curveballs then I'll throw at you, and that is that you did mention potential. And I did say this before to you, and that is that if Arsenal are going to spend way over the odds for a player, i.e. £72 million for someone like Pepe, why should we be worried about potential? Surely he's a finished article, isn't he?
Yeah, and I don't disagree. That's that kind of little man on my shoulder saying to me, "You can't go for Pepe," you know. But you're right, Joe. It's a lot of money, and again, I go back to what I've said previously: is that Pepe he doesn't create the fee, right? So he comes in. We see the potential. We see that he's got ability. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And you could argue the same about Saka on the left-hand side, right? For me, Saka has realised the potential probably more than Pepe. I think that's probably all agreed by most Gooners, I think. However, there's still that potential. So the argument could be someone should be proven on the left-hand side that's literally hitting the ground running and it's 100% fulfillment. Saka, you could argue, is about 78% for me. He's got more to improve on, but he's doing really well as he is at 70%, 80%. Pepe, I would say, is probably sitting around about 60% mark for me. But you're right, the fee shouldn't be come into it. That's not his issue.
It's not his issue, but and as the saying goes, art is only worth as much as someone that's prepared to pay for it. In the case of Pepe, they obviously felt he was worth that sort of money. Well, was it Ivan Gazidis that did he, or was before he went? Was it Ivan that bought Pepe? I can't remember if he brokered the deal.
It sounds like there's some kind of shenanigans behind, isn't it? In regards to some issues about the fee.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Was it Raul? Yeah, I don't know. There's it just doesn't seem right that we should be paying that sort of. I've never seen Arsenal, wanting to fork out that sort of money for a player. And when we bought him, everybody was going, who? And I really hoped that he would just absolutely set everything alight for that sort of money. But obviously, it took him a while to get involved. Did a few magical moments, and then towards the end of last season, he actually started playing really, really well. He was a little bit unplayable, wasn't he, at times?
He was.
We so we talk about potential. For me, I think he should have not so much hit the ground running, because it's always hard when you move into a new country, etc. He seems to enjoy his football. He seems to be smiling a lot. He seems to like playing under Arteta. I think he just needs to, like you say, to get that spark, and this just needs to move forward with his style of play, because otherwise people he's lucky the crowds aren't there, because they would start getting on his back, wouldn't they? And start saying, hang on a minute, we've paid a lot of money for this man, and he should be showing a lot more potential than what he's doing at the moment. But I understand what you mean by the 65% or 65% mark or whatever. Right, I'm going to give you my three.
Go on.
And I'm slightly different to you, in a sense that I would keep Saka in the team because I think he deserves it. He's an excellent player, and he's one of those players that, because he's young, if he burns out after maybe 65, 70 minutes, 75 minutes, we have got people to come on, especially, and we spoke about this before, especially if Martinelli, who seems to be coming back, is coming back, which means that there's a potential, that's for swapping people about up front there. But Saka, maybe, I would definitely keep. He's been playing well enough, and to get an England call up at such a young age as well is really, really fantastic. It's nice to see him and Ainsley playing for England. So I would keep him on the left. So that's the point. I would keep him on the left. But in difference to what you're saying, if Aubameyang is playing, I would put him out wide. Yeah, and then. Only because, now I'm going to backtrack now, like I always bloody do. Right? If Aubameyang's fit, I should have said that before. If Aubameyang's fit, which he usually is anyway, I would play Aubameyang on the left. Sorry, so I'm going to backtrack. I was thinking, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking forward. I was thinking if Aubameyang's not fit, I was going to play Saka on the left, right? But if Aubameyang's fit, the editor's going to kill me. If Aubameyang's fit, I would play him on the left, for the simple reason that when Thierry Henry used to come in, I'm not comparing them as players because they're quite different, even though they have very, very similar qualities. But nobody could touch Thierry. You don't get a statue outside the ground for nothing. So for me, I would put Auba on the left, because I think where he scores a lot of goals coming in from the left, and I think he's really confident. But having said that, and he does it. It's not really a left. He's not really playing on the left wing. He kind of plays not too far away from the centre anyway. He tends to pick the ball up here and cut in.
Inside left.
Yeah, inside left. The old inside left. Yeah, Charlie. That's the one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
So if that's the case, and this is where I'm backtracking even further, so forgive me for this, but I would play Auba on the left of the three, and it'd be quite a tight three, because don't forget, Tierney, is one of those ones that will create that extra man anyway, gives him that chance to play as that inside left. And I would put Laca in the middle only because I really like him. He's one of those players. He blows hot and cold sometimes, but do you know what? His work rate is unbelievable. You watch how much ground he covers, the pressure he puts defenders under, and the fact that he could score a goal when he's on form, proper form, and he's confident. He could score a goal from any angle. He can knock them in from 2 yards. He can whack them in from 10 or 15 yards. He's great in and around the box. He's obviously really, really hard to mark. He's not a massive bloke. Holds the ball up well, ready to bring them to hold. Yeah, it does. Play, you know, a la Alan Smith, and he's really, really good at what he does. So, like I say, if Aubameyang was injured, I'd put Saka out on the left and obviously have Lacazette in the middle. However, I would, for now, I'd have Laca on the left. I'd have Lacazette in the middle because he's more the poacher for me. He's the one around that 6-yard area. Yeah. And I would stick with what you said, and I would put Pepe on the right. And I would persist with Pepe because I think Pepe needs a good run in the team. And the other thing I think he needs, it seems to me, is once the crowds start coming back, I think he needs the crowd to really start pushing him as well. Because I think he's one of those sort of players that actually rises to that occasion. So I agree with you that Laca should be obviously up front, but on the left, I'd put in the middle. I'd put Auba on the left, and I would put Pepe on the right. So yeah, we almost agree, almost. So with Martinelli and Nketiah obviously sitting out on the bench, in my case, and Saka obviously. What would you do there?
That's an interesting one. If Martinelli comes back, now we've all seen Martinelli. He can play out the left, can't he, and come in a little bit. Yeah. But actually, I'd see Martinelli as a natural down the middle player, right? So then I would change, still be a 3-4-3 formation, or Auba would be on the left, Martinelli down the middle, Pepe on the right, and then your two wing backs, Saka and Bellerin bombing down the left and right. That to me then works perfectly. If Martinelli comes back, put him in the middle, and stick Aubameyang back out on the left hand side again. So that to me would be the perfect combination.
Okay, so you're saying a 3-4-3. Does that mean you're sticking Saka? If it was to be over on the left hand side, you're sticking Saka out wide,
like he's been doing the last few games. To be fair, so Aubameyang on the left and Saka just bombing up and down the left hand side as a back five. Okay, a bank of 3, bank of 4, bank of 3.
Okay, so where I mean, is this going on the fact that who's your 3 at the back? Just quickly.
So Gabriel, I would say definitely. Luiz, although he's not my favourite, but certainly as we stand at the moment, Luiz. Who else will I have back? That's a good question, actually. Yeah, Tierney, Gabriel, Luiz.
Tierney, Gabriel, Luiz. Okay, I was wondering. The only reason I asked you, I didn't want to trick. It wasn't a trick question. It was just to see where you put Tierney in there because when you said about wing back,
you can't leave him out.
I thought, leave him out. Where's Tierney going to go? But anyway, that's for another day. We're talking about the front 3. But apart from talking about the front 3, now you've obviously told me yours. I've told you mine. But to the people out there that are watching this, anybody that's watching this, let us know your thoughts on who you think the front 3 should be. We've told you who's, I almost told you mine and nearly buggered it up right from the start, but it doesn't matter. That's what I do. So just let us know who your front 3 should be. I mean, it's fairly obvious that Aubameyang's going to be in there somewhere, but let us know, which combination you'd put them in. It's really interesting to find out how people, the combination that people would put and why. Let us know why as well, because we're really interested to find that out. Now, just quickly, I'm just gonna throw a few of these things at you now, Anne. Thomas Partey. Now, Harold, quite rightly, Harold is one of the guys that does our GoonerTalk and Gooner Views, and as you know, I've known Harold an awful long time. Born in Ghana, raised in London, and very proud Ghanaian, and really excited at the fact that Thomas Partey has now been signed by Arsenal for 45 million quid, which I think the more time goes on, we're going to think is an absolute. When you look at the price of Pepe, I think we're going to see that it was probably actually a snip. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. But he's been going on and on and on about Partey with his mates, and they were telling him to shut up. And now we've got him. How do you feel he's going to change the dynamic of that midfield? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a good one. We could change the formation to a 4-4-2, and I think based on what I've heard when he was at Atletico Madrid, he prefers the 4-4-2. He can slot into that formation pretty easily. If Arteta sticks with a 3-4-3, I think the beauty of Partey for me is that when you see him and what you hear from the press is that he can play two roles, right? He can play that, really get stuck in kind of midfield position, but then go bomb forward if he needs to. So he can play from box to box,
right?
Pick up the ball, run with the ball, right? Which is great, right? Get the tackles in as well. But he can also play as a defensive midfielder as well. So for me, he's quite adaptable. And actually, I think we're desperate for that. If you think about all our midfield players we've got in that, in our starting or squad at least, they're quite one-dimensional. Most of those guys.
Yeah.
Ceballos, very forward-thinking, great. Saka can play that, but more defensive, isn't he? And sort of side to side.
El Neni,
exactly the same as
El Neni the crab. Exactly.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Another Ray Wilkins from old, right? So, but it's true. And but for me, Partey just gives you two dimensions, and it means you can change your formation, and he can adapt to whatever you need, defensive or attacking.
Well, he's versatile enough that I think Arteta will be quite excited to be working with him, because he's going to bring them. We did talk about this before, and Harold H did say that he felt he was more of an, because you were saying earlier on about the fact that people comparing him to Vieira, and I don't think he's going to be like Vieira. I think he'll be more like the Michael Essien of Arsenal, like he was at Chelsea. Very versatile, good at defending, great at going forward, good at putting pressure on, big, strong, and hopefully he'll do it. And now we've managed to get a lot of people who started following us now from West Africa, and specifically Ghana in this case. And that is that, we've got a lot of people watching our stuff from and interacting with us on the likes of Facebook and from Ghana. And so we're really excited to know that we've got a fabulous Ghanaian player playing for Arsenal, which means that hopefully we'll be getting some more interaction with our Ghanaian fans at GoonerTube, which is great stuff. Just while we're talking about the midfield, very quickly, I did mention in one of the transfer shows that I've done, talking about this guy Emiliano Buendia from Norwich. Now, we sort of talked about this quickly earlier on. Could you sum up what you feel about the rumours that are connecting him with Arsenal at the moment, and whether you think we should buy him?
Yeah, well, it's a good point, Joe. We've been linked with potentials, haven't we, for a few other players? I mean, Cantwell you mentioned as well, but Barama as well. Yeah, for me, we just don't need them. I mean, the only caveat I'd add to that is you could argue Cantwell's fits into that British and non-overseas player, so therefore we can, that would feed into that quite nicely. But then you're making a decision based on for the wrong reasons, right? You're not motivated by the ability, right? It's just because it fits in. I don't think we need more players, Joe. I said this to you earlier. We've got a squad of players now where I think we've got cover for most positions now.
Yep.
Now, again, I'm not suggesting we've got a squad that's built for challenging for the league. That's a few years away, in my opinion. But we've got a squad now for challenging for the top four, in my opinion. Now with Partey joining. So for me, we'd just be throwing money at something that we don't actually need. Mm-hmm. I don't think he gives enough quality for me to then override something that we've already got.
Well, we will, but I take that on board. I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with you. Although I do like Todd Cantwell, I think he would bring quite a bit. He'd bring a bit of steel and all that sort of thing. I mean, whether we would need his style or whether we've got that already, and not forgetting we've got the likes of Martinelli to come back as well as good attacking players in the team. And now that Partey's there, it's going to be interesting to see what the dynamic is. And I think there's going to be there's probably going to be a little bit of movement in January when, I think and also the end of next season is going to be interesting because we've got all these defenders. We don't know what to do with them, like this abundance of defenders who are all on big money. And I imagine Arsenal can't wait for May to come to shift Özil. And obviously the story is that they're not letting him put a shirt on because otherwise he gets more bonuses. So they're keeping him on a very basic wage. He's furloughed, isn't he? Yeah. Whatever.
What a ludicrous situation for the club to be in, Joe, don't you think?
Yeah. It is a ludicrous situation, but then and you go back to the thing about art is only what somebody's prepared to pay for it, and if Gazidis, when Gazidis did the deal with him, wanted to pay him all this money, then you can't blame the player, can you? Just got to get on with it.
Of course.
So I understand what you're saying, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I can't see Arsenal going in for anybody. I think they're satisfied with what they got, and. It'd be interesting though, because I think there's going to be at least one of those players that you mentioned there will probably end up in a wearing a Premier League team shirt, because I think they're all, they're all good enough to play in the Premier League. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So I mean, the only reason I said it as well was because of the Saliba situation. I didn't know, was there a deal that they were trying to do to bring Buendia in and send Saliba to Norwich, and who knows what's going to happen there. But it's going to be interesting.
Possibly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely.
But thanks for doing this quick chat with me, and it's
pleasure.
It was nice. It was interesting to get your thoughts. We're always interested to find out what people think out there about who their favourite players are and in what positions. So, like I say, I'll ask everybody out there again to give us your front three, or even your team. Let us know your team that you'd like to see Arteta start. And now that Thomas Partey is coming to the fold, how do you feel about where he should fit in? And we haven't even mentioned Willian. Where does he fit in this situation? Is he one of those players that's going to be an off the bench player, or is there a particular position you put him in as and when you're playing a particular team? He hasn't played too badly so far, but again, there's another player we haven't even discussed today. To be honest, I've forgotten all about him. So going, because we've got all these great players now. So going on that, if you want to go and have a look at the GoonerTube website, which is www.GoonerTube.tv, and there's all the information you can find out about GoonerTube on there. And also there's a new blog that we started up as well by our new blogger. So go and have a look at that at GoonerTube.tv. Also, we've started a series of nostalgic videos about ex-players, and we've just finished and completed our first one that's gone out there, and it's all about the renowned Cliff Bastin, who held the record for the amount of goals that he scored before Ian Wright came and smashed it, and then Thierry did the same thing. We wonder if Auba's going to stay there long enough to do something like that. He's got a big task ahead of him, I think, if he's going to smash that record. But it's all about Cliff Bastin, so go and watch that. Andy's watched it, said it was great, and everybody that's watched it so far said it's absolutely fantastic, which is really pleasing for us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give it a tap, it does us a big favour on YouTube, and hit the like button, and also hit that notification bell. That means you'll never miss any future content here at GoonerTube. We're going to be giving you plenty of content throughout the season, including all the things we talked about, GoonerTalk, Gooner Views, more nostalgic videos, and more segments like this talking about stuff that we just like to talk about as Arsenal supporters and get a little bit of steam off, which is what we've done for the last 15 or 20 minutes. Thanks again for joining me, Andy, and
pleasure.
And we'll speak soon, no doubt. You'll see, no doubt, people will be seeing Andy on upcoming Gooner Talks or Gooner Views. We've got a big game coming up at the weekend, so no doubt you'll be seeing his face again, and my ugly mug at some point in the future. For now, take care. We'll see you soon. Thanks very much for joining us. Cheers.